Over the last month, me and my friends have been playing Team Fortress 2, and it's been a ton of fun. I would argue it's one of the few games that was designed purely for fun. And go figure, it was designed in the early 2000s when gaming was still about fun. Unlike games like Overwatch, Destiny 2, CSGO, which have become insane sweatfests that are not really fun to play unless you're using the most overpowered, boring strategies, Team Fortress 2 is a breath of fresh air where I can just use whatever class or weapon I want. When paired with the unique emotes and insane pre-game dance parties, this game is a lot of fun. And I hope by the end of this video, I've at least made you think about giving the game a chance. And it more than deserves it. I mean, if I can have this much fun, so can someone else. For those of you who don't know, Team Fortress 2 is a class-based first-person shooter, with 9 different classes each defining a role and purpose. Lately, my favorite one has been the Heavy Weapons guy. Heavy alone has had a lot of fun weapons and items to try out. Anything from the Hulong Heater, which gains a buff damage to burning enemies, or the Natasha, which slows down your foe but gives a heavy damage penalty. Those weapons have been so much fun. And there's so many different classes. I can guarantee you there's a playstyle or purpose that suits you best that you can have a lot of fun with. It's like if you don't really like fighting and you still want to contribute to the team, pick Medic and give heals out. Want to absolutely get around the map? Pick a rocket jumping soldier. Or do you want to just lay down traps and blow everything up? Pick Demo Man. There's a little something for everybody here. And even then, in each class, you can pick up weapons and items that drastically change how the class plays. Some of the two most prevalent being the Fat Scout with Heavy or Demo Knight. I mean, if you can't find something that you don't like, I'd actually be a bit surprised. There's so much to choose from here. Honestly, if you don't want to do anything complex, just pick Pyro and WM1 all over the place. You can do that. And I think part of the charm with this game has had to be the class characters themselves. Each one having its own personality, and each one being incredibly unique. And if you read the comics, you find out there's a lot more depth than just what you see in the game. I mean, let's take Heavy for instance. I mean, at the end of the day, he might be simple, like, 400-pound Russian guy with a big gun. But at the end of the day, he's actually a lot more complex than you think he is. Even if the game where this came from is canon, he even has a PhD in Russian literature. It's no wonder him, Medic, and Engineer get along so well. And if you haven't read the online comics, seriously, after you're done watching this video, go watch them. They're actually quite something special. I really enjoyed my time reading them. Then when you have game modes like Payload, Control Point, just absolute staples, which you see in a lot of other games these days, it's going to feel fairly familiar. And it should. This is kind of the granddaddy of a lot of games that we see today. I'd argue for the fact that if it wasn't for Team Fortress 2, online gaming might not be the same as it is today. Especially with the art style, it's very distinctive and very unique to the game. Very cartoony, and the game just itself doesn't take itself that very seriously. And I think that leads right into the game. I mean, you look at the video right now, you see that soldier just juggling explosives, or glitches like him playing the black box like a trombone. I mean, stuff like that, it's funny. It's fun. I love not taking a game so seriously that I just get frustrated every time I lose. And then we talk about the maps. Well, a lot of the maps, I would say, except for the one that is shown in the video right now, are fairly well designed with plenty of flank routes for you to get at your enemies. 9 times out of 10, I'm able to get to where I need to go without encountering a single enemy and then ambush them like, well, me and the soldier plan. And there's a lot of games where I can say that just haven't followed a good map design language, where the maps just kind of feel like choke point after choke point. I can name one that I've put on this channel before. Splatoon 3. And then, of course, you can't talk about TF2 without talking about the weapons. And some of the weapons can only really be tamed in MVM, a man versus machine, a PvE game mode, where you can earn some of the most rare items in the game, such as Australians, but we'll talk about those in a little bit. But talking about the items makes me think this game has a trading community. And what that means is essentially the weapons and gear you're using, you can kind of think of them like as NFTs, but not completely and totally useless. I mean, the weapons and the items you have, you can form an attachment to and keep them throughout your entire career. And as long as the Steam inventory system is still working, you have it. I mean, the weapon I'm using, the Huolong Hater that you see, I've been using for quite a while. To the point where I've got almost 1,500 kills on the gun, and I've not dropped it since. I just love the weapon. And it is my own. I've named it, I've described it. There's no other one on the market that is exactly like mine. I guess what I'm supposed to say is like you can kind of think of the weapons that you use in the game as your own weapons, your own possessions, and I think that's really neat. And being able to trade for exactly what you want, finding cosmetics and gear that you've always wanted to use, or the specific edition of the specific weapon you've always wanted, it makes it really rewarding when you finally get that set all together. Just having the right cosmetics for your class, having the right weapons for what you want to do, it just makes it feel more special, I would say. I would say that this is one of those last games that's sort of like the bastion of fun in the current gaming industry, and I wish more games would take note. It's unfortunate that this game is just receiving so little attention from the developer and from other people, even though like the community is still very active. I mean, if you've not played Team Fortress 2 before, I would seriously consider giving it a shot, because this game is truly something unique. This game is a lot of fun, and I can guarantee you'll find something you like about it. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.